Hello all you people and animals. I swear if any plants are watching this then I'm screwed. This is a game I've heard a few people be on the fence about whether they should get or not, so hopefully this review gives you the answer. I wasn't expecting too much from this game at its very first tease, but when we got the two people in front of the camera talking about it, I was intrigued. Not leaping over my chair amounts of hype, but intrigued. Though to be honest, I was more focused on the guy looking like he wanted to skin me and make me into some piece of furniture. Spoilers, I guess? I haven't beaten this game yet, but I played a ton of it. More than enough to know my feelings about it. Now let's talk about the story?
You serious?
Look, not only is this a Nintendo game, but it's an exercise game. It's not much story. Stop the big bodybuilding dragon with the help of the in-game ring dude. Despite not having much story, I do find the justification for small things great, like the villain will be over-exercising each time you go to battle him, and him then being feasible to beat. The story also promotes healthy exercise, as opposed to going in too hard. By the way, Drago, if I'm pronouncing that right, is like my favourite Nintendo character in a while. Brilliant design and actually a boss I look forward to facing because of their personality. Let's talk about what you can experience other than Dragon Boy. In this adventure mode, Distant Voice. Oh, I didn't mention this as adventure mode. I'm new to reviewing, okay? Leave me alone! This adventure mode is a brilliant showcase of how much effort was put into this game as a whole. To start with, this game has a world map. You can navigate your movement on the map either using your ring, or if you find it clunky, which it definitely is at first, then you can use the buttons. The reason this game has the map is because there's more to do than just go from level to level. There's shops, side quests, and your menu which allows you to upgrade, make recovery and booster items, and of course, fast travel to other worlds. Within the adventure mode, there is plenty of variety. There's regular levels which can have you running, battling, pushing, pulling, squatting, and tree posing, boat rowing and more. You'll also have the town on the map, enter and you'll be given the options for the store, and side quests. The side quests are quite basic, like beating the level with a certain threshold to meet, for example, destroying boulders. The reason this never gets old is because every level feels differently paced and designed. Sure, the environments and enemies repeat a ton, but the build of each level is always very different. Some can be almost entirely without battles, and some can be mostly battles. There's also boss levels. These tend to be quite long, so make sure you pick exercises you can handle. There's a bunch of minigames in this too, and they are always short, but they're a great change of pace from the longer, more traditional levels. The combat in this game is a turn-based RPG. This is genius! The moves are divided into colours depending on the type of exercise you're doing. There are tons of these moves for every colour. You will almost definitely find a move for each colour you like. Well, maybe not like, because it's still exercise, but more comfortable than others. What I find a genius idea about the game is this isn't just used for helping you know which body part you're working. Enemies are different colours too, and ideally, you'll use red against red or blue against blue. This isn't always possible though. You only have so many move slots and moves require different levels of recharge, so you have to strategize around that. Everyone can have slightly different strategies though. Certain clothing can increase the power of certain moves or increase your defense or more. You can use ingredients you have either found or bought to make smoothies. These smoothies are the game changer for me. For me, when I don't have a move with an advantage available, I will often use a smoothie to boost the power of a high damage move of a different colour, and it's incredibly satisfying seeing enemies fall due to your hard work. The real question though, is this good for exercise? Yeah, and it can be pretty damn hard exercise too, but you can adjust the difficulty level and the moves, so it fits you. It's made so almost everyone will have some exercises they can do. The only way I can see this not being a good workout for you is if you're already in amazing shape, but even then I still feel like this would offer a good exercise. It's a balanced workout too. As previously mentioned, different colours target different parts of your body. This being an RPG also keeps you mentally fit to some degree, because in between the exercises and combat, you have to plan your next move. This is genius. It has enough strategy to keep you mentally fit with the booster items, different clothing, and the skill tree, plus the wide variety of moves too. But it's also pretty easy to get into, and not overwhelming, or I didn't think so. I personally use a brilliant feature called Silent Mode. It essentially swaps out running for squats. This is what made me be like, okay, yeah, I'll buy this, because I wouldn't want to be too loud for the floor below me. Now the worry is almost completely gone. Noise-wise, the only equipment you have is the ring, the strap, and yourself. The only loud thing there would be yourself, depending on how heavy you are with your movements. I'm very heavy movement-wise, so silent mode is a goddamn lifesaver. One thing I really appreciate about this game is it means I can exercise from home. I have anxiety. I don't want to go to the gym because I don't want there to be assholes there to ridicule me. At the same time, getting equipment for your home can not only be expensive, but also take up tons of your space. Space I don't have, so a single ring that I can just hook on my wall is incredible. Visually, the game looks okay. Areas are repetitive and nothing other than the main villain stands out to me character-wise, but there are a few little things I like. Your character's hair lights up if you're doing well. Great little detail. Visually, the main thing this game does well though is showing you how to exercise. It gives you demonstrations for everything, and while there are a few trickable isn't a word, is it? Well, I'm going for it anyway. There's some trickable exercises. Most are pretty accurate at recognizing your movements. Plus, it's not fun to play with tricks, at least for me. At the end of each adventure session, you will get to see what you've done all together, and if you meet in-game milestones for the amount you've exercised, the game will praise you and it makes you want to keep going back. There are other modes though. Adventure mode is just my favourite part of the package, as it feels like the best combo of not only game and exercise, but fun and exercise I've ever had. In terms of other modes, you can do single exercises where you try to beat previous records. I personally find this fun competing with family against. I get way too into it though, shocked I haven't injured myself. For more traditional stuff, you can do sets, and much like the colours in the adventure mode, these sets are usually to target a specific body part or body parts. So if you're wanting to work on your thighs and not your arms, you can do that. These two modes are definitely better for more concentrated workouts for individual body parts. While the adventure mode I'm sure is mostly possible to beat using one colour, it's just more fun and more strategic and game-like to have a variety in the adventure mode. The adventure mode just feels like a better option for people who want more game in their exercise, and for a more well-rounded workout. You also have the mini-games. You come across these a lot in the adventure, but you can also play them on their own, which is kind of like the exercise sets as they are also in the main game. It's just they're usually both optional. The mini-games are exactly that. You can aim for high scores. I definitely struggle with some over others. Sometimes it's because I need to work on the right muscles for it, but others it just feels clunky to do. Maybe my body is the clunky part? It would explain how I tore my meniscus simply standing up one time. All I did was stood up one day and uh-oh, that's a boo-boo. Finally, for this section of the game, there's the jog mode thing. You can do jog mode stuff. Fucking mind-blowing. There are two other major, if you can call them that. You can't. One is barely anything. The first is the rhythm game mode. When this was giving me instructions on what to do, I was like, I'm gonna forget half of this. Surprisingly, I did fairly well early on. My body wasn't quite used to matching movements with the colours on screen, so there were a few memorisation issues early on, but go back, get a higher score, and it's just nice to complete it. That said, the other Nintendo game tracks are the place to go for me. Then there's multitask mode. I have not played this. I don't see a reason to. Basically, the game monitors your press and pulls of the ring when you do something like watch TV. It's hardly a massive feature, but definitely nice to have there anyway. That covers everything. I really enjoy this as my exercise, and in general, even though there's definitely some room for improvement in terms of variety. That's all, until next time, bye, yes.